YouTube. In this video I'm going to read you some of my fictional writing that I wrote in this Moleskine limited edition Missoni notebook, and this story is called The Cute Detective, and this is a detective story with a science fiction element to it. And the story goes like this. Who said a cute girl can't be a detective? I can spot anything suspicious from miles away, and my mind is like an analytical engine. There is so much crime in this grim grey world I was born in all of my cuteness. Most of those crimes are not very cute though. I only solve cute crimes. You know, crimes where someone's pink car with furry spinners was raided by a group of streetworn hardass thugs. Or crimes where the victim was bludgeoned to death with a toy hammer that goes squeak when you hit with it. Crimes like that, cute crimes, that's my business. Let's start with last week. I was called to solve a crime to a local nightclub near Manhattan Beach. There had been a guy who had walked into the nightclub with a pink bunny costume. Then he had went to the toilet, and when he had come out of the toilet, he had pointed with a fully automatic assault rifle to the crowd. The assault rifle was decorated with cute ribbons, but the funniest thing was that when he or she had began shooting, he or she had been very specific of his or her targets. The targets were all ugly women. Why would someone do this? I asked in my cute inner voice while surveying the crime scene inside the neon-lit nightclub. The bullet casings were still on the floor. The police had already marked them with yellow plastic markers with numbers on them. I picked up one of the bullet casings from the nightclub's dance floor with white gloves that had a pink fabric decorative ring around the wrist. The casing was 5.56 caliber. It probably was shot out of M16 or M4 or some weapon like that. I put the bullet casing back to the floor and asked some questions from the nightclub owners. You know, a thing like this is real bad for the business, the owner said. I tried to seem cute and agreed with the owner. Then I asked, so how did the perpetrator get a weapon like that inside the nightclub? Don't you have security guards to check for this type of stuff? I glanced towards the toilets that were positioned to the dance floor so that you wouldn't see people coming out of the toilets from the dance floor. We think the weapon was hid in the toilet beforehand, the nightclub owner in a colorful Hawaii shirt said. By whom? Someone of the staff, I asked. The cleaning staff has access to the club outside of opening hours. They are hired by an outside company, the owner said. None of our regular staff would get messed up into something like this. This club is our lifeline and pride, the owner said. Can I get a list of the staff, customers, and especially of the cleaning crew? We only keep a list of the YAP customers, but sure you can get a list of the staff. He gestured towards one of the staff cleaning the bar table with a cloth and yelped, Hey Antonio, can you get a list of all the YAPs and the staff and the cleaning crew for the cute detective here? Sure thing, Antonio from the bar table said. When Antonio had returned from the club's second story with the YAP and the staff list, I thanked and just had to ask the owner, You really think I'm cute? The cutest detective I have ever seen, the owner said with a smile. Now help us figure out this mess, Mrs. Cute Detective, he said and showed me thumbs up. I'll solve this in no time, I said with enthusiasm in my voice and left the nightclub. Next I had to get to the police station. Now we go to the next chapter of the story, and the chapter is called At the Police Station. And it goes like this. Back at the police station they showed me the pictures of the victims. Yeah, they're all ugly, I said while flipping over the pictures. Although this one had cute ribbons on her hair, I said and showed the picture to the officer who had given me the pictures of the victims. But why would someone do a thing like this, and how did he or she pick out the ugly ones from the beautiful ones in the dark of the nightclub? Maybe it had a night vision, the officer asked. So now it's an it, not he or she, I asked the officer. The crime was a pretty inhuman thing to do, so we shouldn't assume anything. It might have even been a robot, you know, the officer said. Even robots are programmed by humans, I said. A self-programming robot out to destroy the human race. No sane human would do this, that's for sure, the officer said. You are reading too much science fiction, I said to the officer. It turned out that actually he was not far from the truth. Mostly beautiful survivors from the nightclub had reported that the shooter had in his hands furry paw gloves, and that the shooter's movement when he had come into the nightclub had been stiff and robotic, one witness and a survivor said. I started to play with the idea that the killer had actually been a robot. Who would we put in the jail then if we ever found the robot? We probably would have to start chasing the robot's programmer. Nevertheless, it started to be evident that this was a completely new type of crime. The problem was, of course, that the programmer who was behind this bloodshed might not even live in the States. He might have conducted the whole mission from Asia for all I know. And the next chapter is called The Programmer. In his secret laboratory, the programmer looked again and again the shooting from behind his bunny robot's eyes. It had been kind of like playing a first-person shooter game. He had slowed the sensory time of the robot, so he had ample room to pick out the ugly targets from the beautiful ones out of the nightclub's dance floor. It was absurd, but it had worked out. The funniest thing, of course, was that he would never get caught. After all, he was in his secret laboratory, and this secret laboratory was situated on a completely another planet. The apes, like the police on the Earth, had no idea about the possibilities of space travel. That's at least what he thought. The robot was finally found in the bottom of the ocean. The bunny costume was never found, though. Chasing criminals to other planets is not your everyday police work, you know. Of course, at this point we had no idea that the perpetrator of the nightclub bloodshed had conducted the whole mission from outer space, from another planet. As I said, I got this cute crime to solve only last week. Now let's zoom back to this present moment. I sit at the desk in front of the nightclub bloodshed case files. The police found and identified the robot few days ago, and in their analysis they found out that the robot that shot all the ugly girls in its bunny costume was probably remote controlled. They couldn't figure out where exactly it was controlled from. They showed me the receiver transmission system, though, that was built into the robot. It seems satellite type technology, the officer that showed me the robot said. So it was controlled from another continent, I asked. Probably, but this kind of technology is so sophisticated that there has to be more than just one deranged robot enthusiast individual behind this. He was probably right, but the way the thing was executed felt that there was only one deranged individual behind all this. They are trying to reverse engineer if they could figure out where the transmission had came from. At this point, the nightclub near Manhattan Beach had resumed their business and upped its security. So that's the story. Not fully realized, of course, but imagine a movie where at the start there's a guy who goes to a nightclub in a bunny costume, and then he goes to the toilet. He comes out of the toilet with the assault rifle and starts like to shoot people on the dance floor. He only shoots, or it only shoots, ugly girls. And then the cute detective is introduced, and the cute detective is like really cute, and he starts to solve this cute crime, and in the end this all leads to a like robot programmer, a deranged robot programmer from another planet, and these police have to like start a space mission to catch this criminal. Imagine that in a movie form. Kind of awesome, maybe, or maybe not. But that was the story. It was kind of like I did it. I wrote it in like few hours. Then in a library, and then some of these girls like started to like harass me there, so I had to stop writing. But that's that. They started to like harass me because of my like awesome hat. But thanks for watching.